Hey guys, welcome back to Lap 1 News, and today we're going to be reviewing the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Though first I would just like to say I'm a bit ill, just a little bit, so you have to excuse the voice if it's sounding a little bit croaky and I'm coughing here and there. Before we get into the review, I would just like to pay a little tribute to Sir Frank Williams, the late Sir Frank Williams, who was an incredible guy. He did so much for the sport and for the Williams team, and he will be dearly, dearly missed in the F1 paddock. And also, I would like to wish Enzo Fittipaldi and Teo Porcher a speedy recovery after their scary incident in the F2 race just before the F1. So let's get into it then. The weekend started off in qualifying with a really intriguing event. Hamilton and Verstappen had been going, they were close. They were very close. And Verstappen, going into the final run, was ahead. Hamilton then puts in a great lap to go quicker, but Verstappen is on an absolute flyer until he bins it in the wall in the last, I think it was genuinely the last corner, and that just ruined his lap and he started from P3. So that was an exciting qualifying session, and if that was anything to go by, we were going to have a great race ahead of us. And yeah, the race was exciting. But it wasn't the best race. And I mean that in terms of the quality, it was just a mess. It just didn't reflect well on the sport today, or yesterday as I'm recording this. So we get off the line. Hamilton gets away well, Bottas gets away well. They're ahead of Verstappen, and there's not an awful lot that's gone on behind at the back either. It was a steady start. I think they learned from the F2 and the Porsche races where there wasn't really a clean lap one, and they were just taking it a bit cautious. That was until Mick Schumacher binned it in the wall. Now, he turned into the corner and I don't know if he went in with too much speed or just there wasn't enough rear grip as he was expecting, and he just put it in the wall. It's a shame, but he's a rookie, he makes mistakes. That led to a very interesting situation where Hamilton and Mercedes and Bottas, they pit for fresh tyres under the safety car because they think there won't be a red flag. They'll get the pits, get the fresh tyres, and they'll be all right. But Verstappen stays out. And this is where I think this was the masterstroke from Red Bull. They saw the incident. Personally, when I saw it, I thought that looks like it could be a red flag. And clearly Red Bull thought that too. And they kept Max out, and they reaped the rewards of that. They got first place from not pitting Verstappen. Then after the restart, or during the restart, Lewis overtakes Max, I think, off the start, but Max tries to keep it in around the outside and just goes off track to do so, and he also forces Hamilton to the left a little bit when he's rejoining, which allows Esteban Ocon to get into second place. That was not a good move for Verstappen, really. It set off a lot of things. It set a precedent. So it's, yeah. I mean, there was an incident behind that. Perez spun round, he got sandwiched, didn't he, between Leclerc and Gasly, and he just ended up spinning. That forced George Russell to slow down or something. Mazepin steamed into the back of him. There was nothing Mazepin could have done there. That's, not his fault. But they were all out of the race, and we were left with another red flag. Now, during this red flag, Verstappen, because he got the position by cutting right across the corner and he had a massive advantage, basically, he's forced to give the position back to Hamilton. But because Esteban Ocon had got past Hamilton during that time, he was now on pole, with Lewis starting on second and Verstappen behind in third. Now, that was not a grid we were expecting to see at all this year, let alone this weekend. So, that was good for Esteban, and it was a strange occurrence. Certainly the way Massey handled it was a little bit iffy. I think he just phrased it wrong. He should have just said, go to third, or I'm taking you to the stewards, rather than I've got a proposition for you. It makes you sound amateurish a bit, doesn't it there, Massey? But there we go. Then at the restart the second restart, I think Verstappen gets away well. Verstappen gets away well. He lunges up the inside. There is a bit of room. I mean, again, it's another one of those where Lewis has to avoid a collision, but it's a bit like Spain, really. But it's all really within the rule book this time. They did all stay on the track, and Verstappen took the lead of the race. Now, once Hamilton had got past Ocon, which only took a lap, he was chasing down Verstappen. And this is where it gets a bit tasty. So, Hamilton attempts an overtake, gets ahead of him, but Verstappen re-overtakes him off the track and is told to give the position back. But Hamilton, when he's giving the position back, he slows down on the straight, trying to make sure he still stays within the DRS detection point so he can get the DRS and get Lewis back. Lewis has no idea what's going on and ends up rear-ending Max. And so that's basically it. I mean, it was a very strange occurrence. Verstappen got a 5-second time penalty for not letting Hamilton through in the end. Hamilton did re-overtake, obviously, and then went on to win the race with the fastest lap. And Verstappen also got a 10-second time penalty for slowing down excessively on the straight and basically being a cause of that collision. Now, no matter what you think about that, whether you think it was Lewis's fault, whether it was Verstappen's fault, the incident, both of them were being a bit of an arse. They shouldn't have been doing it, really, should they? There are better ways to let someone through. There was probably space on the inside if you knew what Verstappen was doing to overtake. So both are equally to blame, really, there, or certainly both could have prevented it, but neither did in the end. And Verstappen got the penalty for that. So then Hamilton went on to win the race, and he gets the fastest lap, meaning we are level in the Drivers' Championship going into the final race. That is going to be so crucial and so interesting to watch, and it's going to be a great thing to see what's going to happen there. Is Verstappen going to get his first title, or is Hamilton going to get his 8th? Is Hamilton going to break the record for the most titles, or are we going to have the first ever Dutch world champion? That is going to be one to keep an eye out. Just a quick shout out for the end of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Right at the end, Bottas just pipped Esteban Ocon to the final spot on the podium. And I think that's really going to help Mercedes in their Constructors' Championship, because with Perez DNFing and Mercedes getting a 1-3, I don't want to say it's all but secured for them now, but you would have to say they are looking very, very good, and they've got two hands on that Constructors' Trophy, which is why I would not be surprised at all to hear Red Bull say they're going to focus on the drivers, because, you know, that's the only one they have a realistic shot at winning at the moment. So that's basically going to be it. So yeah, that's going to be it for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix review. As always, check out my Twitter at Lap1News1 for all the latest news. Leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video. But until the next one, I will see you later.